Well, welcome. I am Mr. Murphy, and in this video we're going to be looking at Power Standard skill number 21. And in this Power Standard we're going to be looking again at the graphs of a polynomial, and we're going to use those graphs to determine what the y-intercept would be. Now there's a couple of ways that you could approach that, not only by using the graph but also by using the equation, and we'll actually look at both because there are times where even if we are given the graph, where maybe we want to look back at the the equation to determine better what that y-intercept would be. Let's look at some examples first of some problems that we'll be seeing as we work on these together and on your own. For example, here on the left you can see that this complete graph for the function for p of x is 2x to the fourth plus x cubed minus 12x squared plus 5. And we can see the graph here. And you can see a number of things. We can clearly see that this graph has some x-intercepts, and you can clearly see that it has a y-intercept. Now let's make sure that we understand some terminology here first before we try to determine what the y-intercept or intercepts for this graph would be. For example, we want to make sure that we understand what a y-intercept is. A y-intercept is, remember, that's the location, it's the coordinate where a line is going to cross and intercept the y-axis. Now that's a coordinate, so it's going to be a coordinate where x is always 0 and the y value is the y-intercept. And an easy way to determine that by looking at an equation, like here I have this equation, y equals 2x to the fifth power plus 3x cubed plus 7. Well, if I replace 0, or if I put 0 in for x, well, 0 to the fifth power is 0, times 2 is still 0. And 0 to the third power is still 0, times 3 is 0. Add all those zeros up and add that to 7, and we get a y-intercept of 7. So an easy way, by just looking at the equation and to find out what the y-intercept would be, is to look at that last number. That last number that doesn't have a variable is what we call a constant. And so for this example, our constant is 7. So my y-intercept would be the coordinate where x is 0 and where y is 7. So now let's use that and let's look at the graphs to determine what the y-intercepts of the examples that we're going to do together and on your own are going to be. So here we have the one that we were just looking at a minute ago, 2x to the fourth plus x cubed minus 12x squared plus 5. To find out what the y-intercept would be, again, that's where it crosses the y-axis, that's right here. I can see that from this graph that I'm counting by tens. Each of those grid lines represent 10 units. And this is halfway between 0 and 10, so I could estimate that my y-intercept would be, looks like about 5. But I could be more precise by looking at my equation, and I see that my constant here is 5, so I can be confident to know that my y-intercept is a coordinate where x is 0 and where y is 5. So why don't you use that concept now to see if you can find the y-intercept or y-intercepts of this next graph on your own. So why don't you pause the video and hit play when you're ready to check your answer. Okay, let's see how you did here. So these are your x-intercepts. That is not what we're using right now. What we're looking for is this one. And so for this one here, we can see that they're counting by 25s, 25 units every grid line there. And I could estimate to say that that's just shy of 25, so you can estimate and think that maybe that's 23, maybe 24. But we want to make sure that we're being precise, so I could look up at the equation and see that for this graph, my constant is 20. So that means my y-intercept would be at 20, so where x is 0 and where y is 20. Well, there you have it. That's it. That is skill number 31. And so hopefully now after watching this video, you have a better understanding of how to find the y-intercept by looking at a graph. Remember, sometimes just looking at the graph doesn't always give you the exact answer. So to be more precise, you want to look at the equation and look at that constant to see what that value is, and that'll give you what the y-intercept value would be. So with that, good luck on attempting some of these problems on your own.